In this section, you will learn how to install your living water on a typical kitchen faucet. Installation is simple and requires only 2 tools: a strong pair of scissors to cut the tubing and pliers to tighten the diverter. Let's begin the installation by removing the aerator from the faucet. Normally, aerators are easy to remove by hand. If you find the aerator is too tight for hand removal, pliers may be used. Before using pliers, wrap the aerator with a soft cloth to prevent damage. Gently grip the aerator using the pliers and turn to loosen. Remove the aerator and set it aside. Next, locate the diverter valve. Make sure the rubber washer is inside the threaded end as shown. If not, install it now. Begin threading the diverter to the faucet by hand. Take care not to cross-thread the diverter. Fully hand-tighten the diverter, making sure the tube connector faces rear. Using your pliers, finish tightening the diverter to prevent leaks. Do not over-tighten. Next, we are going to attach one end of the white tubing to the diverter. Slide one of the metal spring clamps over the tube about 2 inches. While holding the diverter in one hand, push the white tube over the connector with the other. Using your pliers, depress the spring clamp and slide it up the tube, clamping the tube to the connector. To keep the water supply tube out of the way, we will attach the 2 plastic zip ties as shown. Depending on the style of your faucet, tie locations may be different. Also, if additional ties are needed, these can be found at most home improvement stores. Once the ties are attached, use your scissors to trim the excess material away. The living water may be installed to the left or right of the sink. For this installation, we selected the right side. Run the water supply tube coming from the diverter along the sink backsplash to the unit. Make sure you allow enough tubing to connect to the product. Then cut the tube using your scissors. It's better to cut it longer, as you can always shorten it later if needed. Slide a metal spring clamp over the end of the tube about 2 inches. Next, pick up the 90-degree elbow connector and push the tube over the barbed end of the connector, not the smooth end. If you find assembling the tube to the connector difficult, soak the tube end in some hot water for a few minutes to soften. Using your pliers, depress the spring clamp and slide it up, clamping the tube to the connector. Slide the smooth end of the 90-degree connector into the inlet fitting on the side of the product as shown. Install the red locking clip to the inlet fitting to prevent it from coming loose. Now we are going to connect the drain tube. Take the remaining white tube and slide a metal spring clamp over one end about 2 inches. Locate the drain tube connector on the bottom. Slide the tube over the connector until fully seated. Using your pliers, depress the clamp and slide it up, clamping the tube to the drain connector. If you are placing the living water on the left side of the sink, route the drain tubing inside the bottom channel as shown here. For a right side placement, route the tube as we are doing here. Next, stand the product up so we can cut the drain tube to length. The drain tube is held in place using a specially designed suction cup. Attach the suction cup at a convenient location in your sink. Position the drain tube in the sink and cut it. Attach the stainless steel flexible tube to the living water. Adjust it so the flexible tube is over the sink. Before plugging in the living water, remove and discard the protective cap over the plug. Turn the cold water on full. Now slowly rotate the black diverter handle 90 degrees to redirect the water flow to the living water. If you observe leakage around the diverter and faucet, use your pliers to tighten further. Allow the living water to run several minutes to flush the filters. Now you are ready to enjoy all the benefits the living water has to offer.